Recording in progress. So thanks very much for joining us, folks. I'm not sure how many of you were on the Destination New South Wales call, so we'll cover some of the same details, but our call today is really to cover off the specifics for all of us on the North Coast and the stands. I've had a look at the floor plan. I think our presence there is going to be really, really good, very strong. And quite frankly, very excited to be about to launch into real face-to-face meetings again. So yeah, really, really
Thank
good.
Goodness.
So Beck, I think if I can I get you to kick us off with agenda?
Sorry, darling, not for your age group. We just keep it at that height. Sorry, mate.
Hey, Roberta, how are you?
G'day, Roberta.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Welcome to the call.
Are you in
I'll
the
put myself on mute.
sports centre
Yes,
there?
and I'm home alone, so I've got two headpieces going on. My apologies. I'll just mute myself now.
It's
Sorry.
okay.
That
all
happens.
good. No problems at all. Yes. So just to give you, I think most of you would have seen the agenda that Heath kindly sent out. And just maybe, but just for me, show of hands, who was on the DNSW call? We actually had our planning day that day, so we weren't on it ourselves. Was anyone on the call? No?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, Alicia.
Okay, just Alicia, by the sounds of things. Okay. So what we might do is just share. We've got a communication piece that will go out after this meeting, guys, which will have everything in writing for you. But maybe if you don't mind starting, Heath, we might just show that map of where we are.
Yeah.
Just for the reference for the rest of the group that weren't on that call. So Destination New South Wales have got basically a regional New South Wales presence, although they do also have a Sydney-based presence as well. So, oops,
can you all see that?
Hopefully, yep, there's a few nods. Yep.
Yep, that's working.
So we've, go for it, Heath.
Go on.
We're like the Bobsy twins, aren't we? Okay, so this is the New South Wales section, that L section there. So Destination New South Wales is actually looking after regional New South Wales as well as the metro section as well. So Business Event Sydney's in one section looking after the Sydney-based operators, and then in our section we have regional New South Wales. It's basically divided into almost inland and then coast. And I don't know if we've got that specific. Have we got that specific map? If not, that's okay. We'll send it in the follow-up documentation that'll come.
Yeah, I do have it.
So because
yes, we're in this section here. I don't know if you can see me circling it. So top left of the New South Wales section.
Yeah. So we've got a really strong presence for Destination North Coast, which is fantastic. We're taking 6 stands down and we're in that little corner up kind of in the back area there, away from a Rego desk, but that's okay. And that kind of alludes to my next point as to, what activations and things we're taking in our space. And maybe just for the benefit of the group, just to reiterate, we have a stand for the Tweed, a stand for Ballina Byron, a stand for Coffs Harbour, a stand for Port Macquarie, a stand for Northern Rivers, and a stand for Mid Coast, Mid-North Coast. And all of those names will be will line up with our profiles and things on the app as well. Ash, did you have a question? Are you waiting for a question? Yeah. That's okay, just double checking. So as I say, we'll have those 6 different areas. The first agenda item on our agenda today, we've got, in the interest of sort of activating that precinct and remembering that this is not a traditional business event show like AIM where we sit down with buyers and we actually have a one-on-one scheduled appointment. This is buyers walking around and, being attracted over to our stands for us to be able to talk to them and start promoting the benefits of holding a business event on the North Coast. So one of the activations that we've got going is we've decided to bring in Steve Panizzo, who is a cartoonist, a well-known cartoonist. He does he does draw for Sydney Morning Herald and that kind of thing. So you may have actually heard of him before. So he will actually be roaming around our 6 North Coast stands, drawing caricatures of people that are coming into the show. And whilst it sounds a little kitschy, it's actually a really good tactic for people to be able to come over and to get them into our section in the North Coast, sort of first and foremost. People like that kind of thing. The idea
that's not Steve there. That's Max Walker. But yeah.
But this is the type. Yeah, this is the type of work that he does, and the idea is that we'll ask, as the event managers are walking around, that we'll actually get them to come over and, but we kind of get them by default. Come in and have a little caricature, and while they're sitting there and they're in a kind of a captured market, then we can start talking to them, about the benefits of having a business event on the North Coast. So Steve, we'll rotate him around the Destination North Coast floor. So, at some point he'll be with you, Ash or Sharon, we'll be just moving him around. He's movable, so we can activate those different areas. And like I say, the whole idea is while we've got those buyers sitting there and posing for the caricature, that we can start talking. Steve is a bit of a talker as well. We're going to have to brief him that he needs to just draw and keep his mouth shut so that you guys can do the talking. But he's a lovely, lovely guy, and I do think it will actually activate our space. From what I know, there are some other destinations that have got things like food and beverage and that kind of thing, which is fine. That's certainly a draw card as well. But we decided to just do something a little bit different and, activate the space like that. So just be aware that he'll be Team DNC as well. And, he's a really friendly guy, as I say. So he'll be, at some point, he'll be on your stand with you. Anyone got any questions about that? Nope.
So moving on to the next agenda item. This is probably the one that interests us all the most at the moment, is the COVID safety plan. So they've been quite communicative over time about social distancing at the venue and the space taking there. Safety with food delivery as well is key for them. But the most exciting development only came through this week is that they have invested in 2,000 rapid antigen tests. So we'll all be tested as we go into the venue. So Beck and I, in a brief chat before this call, we're kind of talking through some of the challenges for a positive test. And having the potential of being stuck in Sydney. So we would certainly be encouraging everyone to get their own RATs and test yourselves before you leave. But also over the coming couple of weeks to perhaps be even possibly a little bit more careful just in terms of your safety.
We haven't gone to the stage of having like backup staff or anything like that. I don't think that's kind of necessary, but just wanted to give you guys, I know we're all being as careful as we can be, but there'd be nothing worse than, having all of these effort and you've booked your accommodation and all the rest of it only to call out at the last minute. So if you can just be mindful of that. I'm aware there's quite a few mums on the call as well going back to school. They've seemed to ramp up their expectations on that side of things as well. So I think we're going to be very racked conscious for the next couple of weeks anyway. Obviously it goes without saying, if you do have a positive result, you can't attend. But just if you can communicate that, like, God forbid if that does happen, sooner and later, so that we can plan accordingly.
Yeah, just let us know. So any questions about that? No. We do have time for questions at the end as well. So, if questions occur to you as we go on, just let us know. The next little section that we'll cover, again with the follow-up, and we'll share it with everyone, is the event schedule. So there's, of course, the formal event schedule in the program, and our schedule will follow that mostly. But I figured we should have one just specifically for us at the North Coast. So on Tuesday, the first formal thing we'll be doing together is on Tuesday morning, the 15th of February, 10:30 a.m. We will be meeting with Destination New South Wales at the Planar Restaurant, which is directly beneath the ICC. So we'll share the details on that. We've got the address for everyone there as well. Setup commences at 12 noon. So straight upstairs to set up. Setup probably won't take us too long, but we'll cover off for the setup. We'll be covering off a little bit later in this call as well, some of the things we need to bring, but we'll make sure everyone's iPads are preloaded with the content that we might be using during the day, etc. 2 p.m. the exhibition commences, so everyone on board at that point. So the exhibition will be opened, but there are also keynote sessions. So again, we'll talk through some etiquette later about attending those. And then at 5:30, the Get Local welcome event, which will be at Daltone House, Darling Island in Pyrmont. So it's just beneath, well, it's on the waterfront beneath the Star. So we'll probably go across in convoy. It's not far away. It's an easy walk. So and that'll be quite fun, I think, and nice to see the city lights come on. That's the end of the formalities on the 15th. On the 16th, the exhibition opens again at 9 a.m. So that's for early birds. That's pretty late. So you'll be able to do your special walk around Sydney Harbour, or and get a nice breakfast out there somewhere. But definitely we all need to be there. Recommend probably 15 minutes early, just in case anything should slow you down, taxis and that kind of thing. So 8:45, be on the floor. There's an exhibition lunch. I haven't been able to work out, Beck, whether or not the lunch, which is a stand-up lunch, is actually served in the exhibition space. I think it is, but I haven't been able to confirm that yet. If it is, it goes without saying that everyone needs to have lunch. So, but if we are also needing to man the stations, then if we can just share that responsibility between each of the hosts. What they do sometimes do, though, with these kinds of events, is they just close the exhibition hall for the lunch and we all go out, which may be the case. So I just need to reconfirm that. Then the exhibition closes at 5, but the exhibition space will close before that at 4 for a happy hour at the close of the event. So in terms of formality, our responsibility will end at 4 p.m. for the floor, but that extra hour is a really practical time for networking. So we'll definitely be encouraging everyone to attend that as well. And then we've just been talking about it, but once we know where everyone's staying, we'll work out what's the most practical location for a quick informal a drink and again an informal debrief for the event at perhaps one of the 2 hotels that we'll be recommending in a moment. And that'll be the final piece. I'd certainly recommend, unless anyone's really desperate to get home, and to maybe stay that extra night as well in Sydney, just for your own sanity, because it will be a big and busy day to that point. So any questions about the schedule? I think, Beck, I think you and I are coming in on Monday night. So we'll be there ready for the 10:30 call, and that'll allow us to cover off anything else in town that we might need to do beforehand. But again, arriving that day earlier might save you some of the frantic hustle of getting through peak hour traffic and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and just to quote those rates, guys, if by all means, if you want to make those reservations, they're aware that is a special rate. So maybe just remind them, if you get a reservation clerk that doesn't quite line, those rates don't line up, just remind them that you're there for Get Local, and you should be able to access that rate.
Are you seeing my screen?
Yeah.
You are. So Novotel Sydney Darling Harbour it's a well-located and fairly new Hotel, and the rate is $185. It's a little bit of a walk. Slightly closer is the Aden Hotel, Sydney Darling Harbour. So we've got a $185 rate at the Novotel, and the Aden, which is brand spanking new. So it, in fact, I don't think it's even open. I think it's scheduled to open this weekend. They've given us an opening rate of $245 there per night. So I've discussed with both, so you'll be able to let them know that you're with the Destination North Coast group if you'd like to take up either of those bookings, or you could send them to me and I can put them through. Any questions about accommodation? All right. The Get Local app presence. Has everyone updated their details on the app? Does everyone have the app? I'm worried about you, Ash. Do you have it?
Yep, I have it.
Oh, good.
Well done. And Sharon, I think.
I have
Sharon?
it. Yep, I will get onto it today. Sorry.
Okay.
Yep, just been struggling
okay.
with it.
That's okay. It's struggling in what way? Can't access it or just haven't got the time to do it? As
A bit of both. That sort of stuff takes me forever, but I'll get
Okay.
Michaela to give me a hand.
Okay, it's really simple. They sent you an email back in
Yes,
December
I've got
just
that.
with a unique password.
Yep.
If you've got any problems, one of our other operators who hadn't also loop registered either, they had logged out, there's a timed out. So if you have any problems when you revisit that,
Yep.
we can just get Nikki to
Okay.
resend a new link.
All right.
It is really important. I don't want to make you feel terrible
No,
because
I know
it's
it
not
is.
about
Yeah,
that.
I know.
But we've got event managers already looking at our profiles, and I've already got event managers connecting with me.
Yep.
They were doing it like the day after Christmas. I was like, oh, okie dokie, right. So just be really mindful about that in case you do start to get those pings and those notifications about event managers wanting to find out more about your destination. They start to sort of book those, for lack of a better word, formal meetings. They want to book times and things like that. So
Okay,
it is important
no
that
worries.
everybody's just checking that app. Sorry, Heath, go for it.
I was just going to say, and we are planning to over the coming week to send a first teaser introduction for Destination North Coast to the database, and then on the week prior we'll send another reminder. So definitely update your profile. I've just looked at mine and I realised I have to take a photo of myself as well to update that. But photos are really practical, so people will be able to recognise you when they come looking for you. But yes, definitely. And the app. The other key thing about the app is quite a lot of what we're covering here today. Things like the floor plan, the schedule, they're all in there already. So it's going to be a practical tool, and we're going to rely more heavily on it as we go ahead.
A bit of a one-stop shop.
Yeah, it's very much a one-stop shop. So as we go on through the rest of this agenda, we'll be referring to the app quite frequently.
And what we might do actually, sorry Heath, just to add to that. So I'm aware that some people haven't actually used the apps for lead generation and scanning of contacts through QR codes. Obviously, with Service New South Wales, we're getting very, very good at that. But we might just come alongside everyone at the beginning of the show and make sure that you understand how to actually scan those contact details. You know, we can do lead generation on the app, although we're going to talk about some alternatives for us in a minute. And also, there is engagement competitions and things like that. So if you're taking photos on the floor or we're taking photos of Steve or whatever, the organisers encourage us to upload that so that they can start sharing that on social media and things like that. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with the app, if you haven't done this before, we can certainly run you through that before you're expected to use it on the showroom floor.
Yeah. All right. So again, with any activity. Sorry?
The Famil links?
Yeah, so the Famil links we will cover. So back in 2019, we filmed some formal Famil tours, 3 and 6 minutes long, for a large proportion of the North Coast. We haven't managed to get everything done yet, but we are still working towards that. But we'll have those loaded onto I've gone down the wrong channel, haven't I?
But that's okay.
So there are two different things we need to deal with. So we are hosting a Famil series shortly as well. I'll come back to the other Famil shortly. So we're over the course of the first 6 months of this year, we'll be hosting Famils in the Mid Coast, Coffs, Ballinabyron and Tweed. And during the show, we are encouraging people to complete expressions of interest in joining, so buyers who have conferences for the region. The plan is to basically qualify genuine business for the region and then bring those people to the region that they're most interested in bringing business to. So we have a form. Let me bring it up. I have to stop share for this, I think. Beck, just one second.
Can I just, while you're bringing that up, I might just add to that. So, guys, we, as I mentioned before, they're not formal appointments. This is not death by PowerPoint. You don't need to be, it's not that type of a show. It really is about engaging with our event managers and starting a relationship with them. So really it is quite informal. It's still important, still professional, but quite informal as far as we're not presenting PowerPoint or anything like that. The intent is that we've got these event managers walking around the show floor. We capture them into the North Coast footprint, whether that be through Steve or our beautiful smiling faces that invite them in. And then whilst they're there and talking to our 6 destination representatives on their individual tables, that we'll have the call to action, which will be for our event managers to register for our Famils series. So some of you may have seen this in the e-newsletters that we've been sent through, but our North Coast Famils expression of interest have actually opened. They opened just after Christmas, and we are closing them technically at the end of January, but we're actually keeping them open for extending them through to capture more registrations at Get Local. Our Famil series are really, really, really heavily subscribed. They're very well respected in the industry, and it's a bit of a competition to see who can be kind of accepted onto the Famils. For those of you who haven't been involved in the Famils before, they are qualified event managers. We only pick those people. To give you an idea, we're up to, I think, 76 registrations so far for the Famil series. And we only have about 10 to 12 positions available at those 4 individual, those destinations. So it does become quite competitive, but that works to our advantage because we then have event managers who are giving us a lot of detail when they register for their Famils, for these Famils, and we're able to pull out that intelligence that we can actually do something with later on down the track. So if Heath can share the registration form, it's important. Yep,
is that
wonderful.
showing there now?
It is, yep.
Yep.
So on each of the stands, we're going to have an iPad, and we were actually going to put the call out, guys, because we have 2 and we need an additional 4. So if anyone's got an iPad that they're happy to bring down to Sydney, it does need to be fully charged, but this is an internet form, not just a web form, so it's nice and easy. If you wouldn't mind helping us out by being able to share an iPad, that would be very helpful. So when our event managers come along, fantastic to meet you. I'm such and such. I represent this area of the North Coast. Talk to them about, what they're looking for at the show. And then if there's sort of a break in the conversation, encourage them to register for the Famil series. Did you know that Destination North Coast is providing a Famil program this year in 2022? It's at no cost to them. I say that other than, they have to pay for their own personal incidentals and alcohol and all of that kind of thing, although there is some sponsors, dinners and lunches, and we'll include that. So, again, it's not about having a freebie or, I've had lots of conversations about junkets and all sorts of things, but the Famils in the business events world are quite, they're qualified event managers, and they result, we find, in our particular scenario for the North Coast, about 83% of event managers convert after they've actually they've been on a Famil or a site inspection. So it's an important process for us. If we just run through, so we're asking people to apply online. As you can see, I'm interested in attending. They have to pick preferences, so 1 being their first preference down to 4 being their fourth preference, their name, their preferred name and company. Address, nice and easy. Address lines, they're all standard telephone number, email, and then most importantly, what do you organise here? So this is when we start to pull out that intel that sometimes can get lost when you're having conversations. And so this is a good way of us being able to capture this data and then use it for future plans and initiatives. So what do you organise? So just for those on the call who may not understand the difference, conferences, we're usually talking about residential conferences there where there's an overnight stay attached. Meetings at day, usually a day meeting. Incentives, those people that have been rewarded for doing a good job. We get a lot of those inquiries for the likes of Lord Howe Island, really rewarding their staff. Staff rewards as well, that might be independent. So that could be, we work for Amway, and we want to be able to give all of our staff a reward. And so those people are still business events, but they're moving in big groups. And then social functions as well. Have you ever held a business event on the North Coast before? That's just a simple yes or no. And this is where we start to get a bit intuitive about finding out where we can put those inquiries from what the event manager is looking for at a show like Get Local. So what area of the North Coast are you looking for information on? I'd really like to go to Foster or Mid Coast. Fantastic. I'm going to pop that in there. What months do you travel for business events? So it could be anything. Just ask them to tick the boxes there. And this next little section here is about any of that future business development or opportunities for inquiries that we have coming up. So you might have an event manager that's in front of you that organises 6 or 7 events a year, or you might just have an event manager who's actually organising one. It's really important for us to try and pull this information out of them if we can. So really encourage them. I've certainly had the situation myself where people are like, oh no, I just want to apply for the FAMIL and I've got nothing coming up, and that's okay. But I'm just going to tell you, between you, me and the gatepost, they're going to have a better chance if they've got business for us to have on the East Coast to be accepted into that FAMIL program. So if they've got any potential business, we would encourage them to put it in here. Estimate delegates, that's just a clear number, the date when they think that's going to happen. Estimate delegates refers to the previous question, my mistake. So it's about, what sort of size groups do you organise? And then delegate numbers is about that specific piece of business. And then we can get them to put some notes in. So they might say, I want 2 nights, 3 days, full social functions, and a part of the pre and post touring program. And so we add that into there. Now, you guys don't have to do anything. Once we've actually said I'm not a robot and we've submitted, that detail will be sucked into the system, and then we've got that at the back end. And then what we can do is go through after the show, qualify all of those leads, and then send them back out to you guys in our usual proper inquiry form that I think most of you have seen. So that's sort of our call to, that's kind of, if we were to say what does success look like for all of us at Get Local, as many registrations on this platform would be a really good indicator. And I know we've got questions at the end, but I think this is really important. So does anybody have any concerns or questions about this part, about the registering for the FAMILs?
I've got a really quick one, Beck.
Yes.
Just the difference between the incentives and the staff awards. Is staff awards where they would travel independently, but they
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
Correct. And it's bought usually on a company credit card. It's almost like a gift voucher.
Okay.
So they will book multiple room nights or multiple gift vouchers all together, but they issue them independently. It's still treated as a business event because we've still got large groups of people on the same credit card or on the same transaction. Whereas incentives, they travel as a group.
Okay, thanks for clarifying.
That's okay. Anyone else have any questions about that? Do we all feel like we're confident? Because you may get those people who say, I don't know what you want me to fill in here, and so we'll need you guys to be able to take them through the form. Happy with that? Okay, we won't labour on that too much.
Sorry, Beck, I was trying to find my unmute. So given that we're not listed, Mid Coast isn't listed, do we have a chance, an opportunity to have this apply to us, or
for the FAMILs, you mean?
Yeah.
So we've got they can still apply. We'd encourage them to apply anyway because it's building our database too, Sharon, and we talk to them about all as you know, you guys are deemed as an emerging destination. So those inquiries, we still talk to that database. And then as far as the FAMILs and things go, we do try and run these every year to 2 years. So, I think you and I have had conversations offline before about having an eventual FAMIL for the Mid-Coast. So that would be something that we could work towards in the future. But yeah, just for the moment, certainly get them to register their interest. And not all of them will say 1 to 4. We've actually had people that are very, very just specific about, I only want to go to Coffs Harbour and nothing else kind of thing, or, any of those destinations. If you are finding that people, they don't have that product knowledge and they're really interested about going to the Mid-Coast and you're talking to them, what I'd encourage you to do is put that in that notes section. And we can follow up with a mini FAMIL. And I'll take this offline with you too, Sharon, but I've just spent the last 2 days talking to operators up there, and I think one of the things that we do is just take them out of Newcastle as a bit of a smaller one. So you and I can talk about that.
Yeah, no worries at all.
Yeah, any of those notes sections down the bottom, guys, it's an internal form, so Heath and I will be the only ones seeing it. So, just if you want to, if the buyers aren't too keen to elaborate, by all means take the iPad off them and start elaborating if you want before you hit submit. And then we'll qualify them on the other end. Okay, fantastic. So that's our call to action. The other 2 tools that I think I might talk about just quickly, and I know some of you have seen these, but I do find that especially when you're new to this, one of these, we will have manual copies of this. I'm not a paper person. I prefer to do these, but what I do actually find is that this is a really good reference tool so people can have an understanding about where the North Coast is. And obviously we've got on the back here, we've got a listing of all of the operators that are involved in our program. And we've got the airport routes and things down here as well. So if you find yourself a little bit, because remembering, guys, that we are Team DNC. So whether you're there obviously representing your own destination, but there's every likelihood that you're going to get a question about not your destination. And that's Heath and I will be floating around the floor, obviously helping with that. But we do need to sort of have a bit of an understanding about our broader region as well. So we'll make sure that some of these flyers are on the tables. You can talk about the footprint, you can talk about your area specifically. And then, as I say, the call to action would be, can we take some more information down? Would you like to register for the FAMIL? We have talked about, and I know on the DNSW call they talked about competitions and all that kind of stuff. This show is not really set up as far as space or storage. There's certainly no storage. There's not the cupboards that we normally see, the lockable cupboards or anything like that. And there's certainly not a lot of floor space. The tables, and I think, are you okay to share that, please, Heath? Just so everybody can see what I'm talking about. To give you an idea, we have for Ballina Byron and Port Macquarie, you guys have got cafe tables. They're the oblong ones that you can see down there, the timber oblong ones, 1, 2, 6, 9 on the left-hand side there. And for Tweed, Coffs Harbour, Northern Rivers and Mid-North Coast, we've got the higher bar tables. Just as far, I am diverting off the agenda here a little bit, but
that's right.
We'll have tablecloths that'll be in our corporate green, in our green colour. So that will be a bit of an identifier for our particular region. But as you can see, guys, there's not a lot of space. So the last thing we need to be doing is having death by PowerPoint, a business card holder, some flowers, blah, blah. It's not like that. We're just keeping it nice and simple. We will have the flyers that you can use as a reference tool. We'll have the iPads that we would encourage you to get people to register with. And really, other than business cards, your own business cards, that's kind of it. There's not a lot else that we have the ability to store. So yes, I'm sorry, Heath, I didn't reference that, but I think it was relevant at the time.
Well, I don't think we're too far off though. The only other item we were going to cover before the dressing the stand was just any activity on your socials, LinkedIn, for example. Just go on and anything that you post. Add the hashtags for Meet and Regional New South Wales, Feel New South Wales, North Coast, and of course your own representation. And we're going to add event profs there as well.
Yeah. So is everyone in a position? Is everyone that's on the call in a position to actually influence their social media posts?
Yeah, we can in Ballina Bio.
Excellent. So what we will do, we have a toolkit from Get Local that was sent to us Tuesday. So we will share that with you guys. It has all of the tiles, social media tiles for Instagram, Facebook and LinkedIn at the right proportions. So we really would encourage you to, looking forward to getting down to Sydney to see our clients, that kind of thing. And I know some of you have got promotional videos in the business event space, even a beautiful shot of, a function centre or, somebody that's in one of your products or stakeholders that are in this space. If you can start to share those across, that would be really handy. For many of you, you know that we have a LinkedIn profile, but we don't have anything else. So you can't I've had people ring me and say, I can't find you on Instagram. We're not on Instagram or Facebook, so you can only find us on LinkedIn. But if you'd like to tag us on LinkedIn, that's terrific, and vice versa. We will engage with everyone that will be at the show as well.
Yep.
I think we've talked about the stand dressing. The other thing was just moving on, just the uniform. So some of you that were on that previous call, I think, Nick, we were talking about how we could maybe look at like a team. We've purchased some scarves. They're just like a lightweight cotton scarf for the girls. No offence, boys, but you can wear one too if you're so inclined. We were hopefully thinking that we kind of have a bit of a uniform going on, and we just thought if everybody could wear some sort of black outfit, that would be, we don't want to be too dark, but if you can just, corporate black, then we will have these scarves that we will issue when we're down there. And ladies, you can wear those however you like. We will get to trade show etiquette and wrap up, but it is probably really important to mention it is a corporate trade show, but for goodness sakes, standing on high heels for 10 hours is not fun, and having to walk across, that's not the era. We're not in the 80s. We don't need to wear a power suit with high heels. So guys, just be comfy. You're standing on your feet the whole day. Professional but comfy. I might just also, we have done up the name tags for you guys. So they're environmentally friendly. I don't know if you've seen them before. We've had them at Symposium for those people who have attended Symposium. They stick to the fabric. They stick to fabric. So they're not paper-based or anything like that. They're material. And we've just got everyone's name and then the company name underneath and our branding on it. So we have a name tag for both days. We know what it's like when you lose these fabric ones. It's quite painful. So we'll just issue scarves and the name tags on the morning of, and we can keep them at the property, keep them at the venue for the next day. So we all look like part of a team. And as far as I'm aware, and maybe just, I know this is being recorded, I've got to be careful what I say, but Destination Sydney Surrounds South and Destination Sydney Surrounds North are also looking at starting a business events program. So a little part of me that's fairly competitive would like to present the North Coast as a united front, because actually, in fact, we really are. So the uniforms and the consistency in tablecloths and the name tags and things like that, I know it's all a little bit superficial, but it does actually present a really good dedicated team image. So if everyone's happy to wear those, we would appreciate it. We've talked about I'm just taking over here, sorry. Number 8, we've talked about the Famil program.
The only thing I kind of, and the reason I went off on that wrong tangent was because we'll also load the Famil, the recorded Famil links onto those iPads, really just as a backup. If you've got someone who wants to just have a bit of a snapshot, you'll be able to jump on those YouTube videos and give them a little bit of a glance. But it's also something we'll be sharing in advance. So that's the only reason I went off on that tangent, Beck.
That's okay. That's all good. We've kind of talked about the Famil schedule and the things that are going to be on the tables. We mentioned the iPads. Any show of hands, anyone who can actually bring their own iPad? Sharon, great. I'm going to tick you. Lovely. Everyone else is off camera that I can see. Anybody else got one?
I'll certainly ask. I think we may be able to. We do use it in the business centre, but I will see if I can grab it for instance today.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, we don't have any, so
that's okay, Ash. So so I should just explain, Sharon and Ash, you're on the same stand together. So you guys will be working together on that. And I think we only need one iPad per stand so that you can manage both of those at the same time. So if Sharon brings yours, Pete's got ours for Lismore for Northern Rivers. I'll bring mine for Port Macquarie. Nick, have you got one by any chance for Coffs?
I'm not sure, Beck, but I'm sure I'll have something. If it's not an iPad, it just might be a Samsung or something like that. That won't matter, will it? As long as it's just a tablet.
Not at all. It's fine. It's loaded on our website on a dedicated page. So as long as we can get internet access, which we will be able to for the ICC, then we'll be able to open it straight up. And I'll talk to Chrissy.
We'll have something.
Thank you. I'll talk to Chrissy and Sally for the Tweed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Sally has one, and Tony might have one as well from Lismore. So yeah, but we'll get there. We'll get the numbers.
Excellent. All righty. I'm just conscious of time. Do you want to cover off lead management?
Yes. So essentially, on the expression of interest for mill forms, that's certainly one of our preferred methods for taking leads because it serves two purposes rather than just the one. So definitely, please do encourage people to go on to the expression of interest form, fill it out, and put as much detail as they can in there. I'm also just conscious, though, that at any trade show, there is often a sense of time constraint. So anyone who wants a follow-up call, feel free to just pop that in the notes as follow up, and I'll be more than, or will be more than happy to call them and further qualify any of the leads. But if they can just give us the broad strokes, then that's great. The other area that you can use is the app. So again, the Get Local app, it has some great functionality there in terms of connecting. So again, we'll go through this at the venue itself, but you can scan the person's QR code and then that'll connect you across, and then you can add notes to the scanned appointment that you've just had, and then we'll be asking that everyone share those afterwards, because essentially we will be using that to build our case for attending these kinds of events again in the future. And the return on investment's the key area, and the best way for us to measure that is by the number of bookings we actually take for the whole of the North Coast.
Yes, very good. Just the trade show etiquette, just quickly before we have time. We've got about 10 minutes left, so just before questions. Do you want me to cover that off, Heath?
Yeah, by all means.
Yeah. So we mentioned before, just with guys, would encourage you to bring down your business cards so that, very much it is app driven, and there's a lot of people that are conscious about the environment, so they will scan your contact details off the app. But I would still encourage you to bring down manual business cards, and lots of them. Everyone says, oh, I ran out. I only bought 50 and it was 200. We are actually expecting 450 at the trade show, event managers at the trade show. There's every likelihood you won't see all 450 delegates. But just be mindful to take as many as you can, remembering that we've got no storage. So maybe handbags, that kind of thing. You are working as a team. So I just really, as I say, very supported by Heath and myself, so we can slot in if people need to go and make work calls, or there's an emergency, or you just need to go and eat, have a break, go to the toilet, that kind of thing. The only thing I would suggest is it looks very, very average if there is no one standing on your stand. So if you can work with your partners, for example, Sharon and Ash, if Sharon feels like ducking out, then Ash, if you wouldn't mind just staying there and then tag team back and forth, that would be really helpful. We are also supported by Destination New South Wales as well, and we will have Mitch, Amber and Claudia as part of their team. They'll be roving the floors as well. The other thing, just with trade show etiquette, I don't need to tell you guys this, but I do need to say it. You are there to work. It is actually about making sure that we are being attentive to those people that are walking past, and we do need to have an active we need to encourage people to stop and talk to us. If you're nervous or anything like that, that's fine. We'll show you how to do it. But once those people walk past, we've kind of missed that opportunity for us to be able to start a relationship with them and pull out that key information. So, and you guys are really lucky in the fact that, I don't say this in an ego way, but we've been working with these event managers now dedicated for the last couple of years. And so we have those relationships, and that's what I'm looking forward to doing, is actually bringing them in and starting to introduce them face-to-face to our stakeholders, because that's really critical and it will be beneficial to you guys as well. As I mentioned, it can be tiring. Make sure you've got some water. They do have phone charging stations around the floors, so you can actually charge your phones if you need to. But we've got water stations. The toilets are just on the floor there. ICC is very comfortable. It's obviously a new venue, so I think we'll all have a very nice experience. Anything else to add there, Heath, before questions?
No, that's, I'm looking forward to it as well.
Excellent. Okay, on to the Q&As, guys. I know you've got so much to ask. Go for it.
I've got one, Alicia and Helena.
Yes.
So with the USBs, will they have like the promotional material that we can hand out to people if they're wanting to take something with them?
They will, yes.
Oh.
Now, we're not taking mountains and mountains and mountains of USBs. We're going to take we'll probably end up taking about 60 of them. And I would just encourage you, Alicia, to only give those out to the people that are genuinely interested. I've had in the past, oh, great, is this like a storage USB? Is it like a promotional giveaway? It's not like that. It's actually, it's a dedicated sales tool. So all of our up-to-date information will be loaded on for the whole of the North Coast under individual destination folders. So once you put it in the system, it's nice and easy as a reference point. But we'll have about 60 of those. We'll share them across each of the stands.
Great, okay, thanks. Would it be worth, do you think, generating a QR code for the FAMIL form, the web form, and people could scan that QR code and perhaps do it on their own devices as well if we are, I don't know how busy we would be.
Yes. Yeah, I failed to mention, we've got it written down, but I don't think we talked about it, the A5. We've got like a little A5 reference, like a little stand, the tiny little pull-up stands. So we will have one of those on each of those stands that encourages people to register for the FAMIL. So we can stick that. Yeah, it's a great idea. QR code right there and then, and they can take that back with them. The other thing is that we'll also follow up with all of the effort and the downloads that we do get. We will then, Destination North Coast will then go back out to everyone as a last blitz, if you like, for those people who weren't able to register on the day. And again, we're a bit like John Farnham. We'll have our last concert, and then our last concert, we'll actually have our last registration day for the FAMIL series before closing that off. So, good point. I'll make sure I add the QR code to the A5 flyer.
Yeah, thanks.
Anybody else? Any of the new guys that haven't been to business event trade shows before? Ashley, Sharon, Roberta. You guys got any concerns? Nicole?
Beck and Heath, are you encouraging people to, it's Nicole, sorry,
yes, you're right.
A logo.
Yeah.
Are you encouraging people to BYO, like a laptop or their another tablet to sort of show off their own videos and things like that?
Not ideally, to be honest. I mean, certainly you can, if you've got, if you're on an iPad, we would, the success story for us is if they do register with the FAMIL, because once we've got that information, we're able to work that database for future things. And that can be following up with, once they've indicated that they have a preference for COFs, then we can follow up in a dedicated way after that. Mm-hmm. We've just got to be a little bit mindful, I think, Nick, that it's not information overload at this point. This is really about relationship building. I always say this, but my mum used to say to me, you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. This is the listening phase, learning about the event managers. And then after the post-show, that post-show effort is really about us saying, okay, you've got a group of 50 and you've indicated that your preferences are destination A, B and C, and then we go back out and deliver that sort of tailor-made content for that particular inquiry. Yep. So we don't want to overwhelm them, and I've seen it lots. And you know yourself when you go to a trade show and somebody starts on the spiel, and you're kind of like, oh my God, I'm so bored, and they don't know anything about me. They've just started doing the sales pitch. we would prefer that you guys don't do the sales pitch. It really is about getting to know these people and learning what type of events they hold, and that we can help you with that, with teaching you how to about, you know, open-ended questions and that kind of thing. And then all of that fantastic work that you do anyway, it happens after the show, where we start talking about the destinations more specifically.
Cool.
Does that help you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any, like, I'm just thinking, is there any sort of movement colour in our area? Like, is there a screen, like a large screen in our area that just plays our destination bids or anything like the you know, the bids that you guys have done?
Yeah, no. So that's what Heath was mentioning before. So we'll have those open tabs on the iPad. So if we don't have them, so a couple of things. Destination New South Wales, who are paying for the floor print, worked with the operators, and this is a very minimalistic show. So normally we would have the opportunity. Normally we would have the opportunity, even to the, like, to be honest, even with the, you know, the design of the tables. I mean, why they didn't put storage in, I still can't understand, but that's okay. It's very, very minimalist. Okay, so they've said no to videos. We asked the same question months ago, no to videos and that kind of thing. But on our individual stands, ideally, I think Heath and I would prefer that it's a face-to-face human interaction, and then get them to register.
Yeah.
And then if they're still interested and you still feel comfortable, we would encourage you just to click on that second tab, and you can show them the videos that have already been curated from the 2019 series. Yep. That might be the best way about it, I think.
If I can jump in, there's no doubt that is the best way. If you've got yourself a laptop there, it'll annoy you all day, I think. Basically because you'll have to lug it everywhere. There's just the fact that we've got nowhere to put anything is a challenge in that sense. But it's also a luxury because you do find yourself forced to go person to person.
I think that's not a bad thing, actually.
And I know, and just for point of difference and thinking about what other destinations are doing, again, we are very Team New South Wales. We appreciate that as well. But if the pandemic has shown us anything, it's about that connection to self and connection to people. It's not, we don't want a one-dimensional sit down and just watch a PowerPoint presentation or a video or whatever. It really is about the benefit that we have as one of our USPs on the North Coast is really getting to know people, is that personal connection. And business events, dare I say it, is old school. We're all about relationship building. It's all about face-to-face.
Yeah. Can I ask one more dumb question?
It's not a dumb question.
If we're wearing say black, like a black shirt, can we have an icon or logo on the back?
Yeah, that's fine. Yep, I have no problem with that at all. We're just trying to keep it consistent. So our pulling it all together, if you like, is the scarves, is the green stuff.
Yeah.
But if you want to wear your own stuff on a black shirt, that's fine.
Yeah,
like your own logo.
Not stupidly over the top, just, you know. So there's an icon there. Cool. Okay.
No, that's fine. And Heath did, I don't know if we mentioned this out loud in speaking, but Heath did have it on the notes. It can get a little bit cold in that air conditioning, so bring a jacket.
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions? No?
Oh, are you making Destination North Coast masks? Branded masks?
Oh,
no, we did look into that. They're a little bit expensive. They're a little bit expensive, actually. I was a bit shocked. But I tell you what,
we could just get the blue ones with a Sharpie. We'd be right.
I did actually I was at Tiona on the Mid Coast yesterday, or the day before, and they've got they've purchased a whole heap of green ones with leaves and nature-based type look on them, and I thought, we could probably look at something like that, but then you'd all be wearing what looks like palm fronds over your face. So we might have room in the budget for that, Nick. Leave it with us, but pack your masks, for goodness sake. Yes, we'll still be at that stage. All right. Anybody else have any other questions? I'm conscious it's been an hour. Time is precious. What was that, Alicia? Sorry.
No, it's been very comprehensive.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted to say I really like the feel that you're going with too. I think the way you want to engage will be much better than a formal setting. So I'm all for that. And it makes me feel a little more relaxed because it feels like you guys are doing all the work.
Absolutely.
I just have to show up.
Yeah, no, it'll be fun when we get there.
Yeah, no, it sounds great. Thank you.
Can't wait.
Yeah. And also, Roberta, remembering that this is the first trade show that we've had in a very, very long time. So you're going to have event managers are a solution-based, fun-loving bunch anyway. But this will be, I think, if we keep it casual and still professional, but casual and lighthearted and friendly, that's really going to work with the fact that this is the first time we've seen anyone in 18 months. You know, that'll really help as well. There'll be lots of air kissing. I can already see it.
Great, thank you.
All right, ladies and gents, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. We'll follow up with some notes, and we will probably schedule another call a couple of days before the show. If you've got any issues at all, or you want any questions or combination rates, any of that sort of jazz, you know where to find us. But thanks again for your support. We're looking forward to getting Team DNC down to Sydney.
That's it.
Thanks for all your work. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Okay,
you.
guys.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon.
Bye. See you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.